All right, and welcome back to another episode of EssendZOOM Royals, where I'm joined by none other than Melbourne Victory legend and Essendon Royals striker Archie Thompson. Welcome, Archie.
Hey, mate, how are you?
Good, mate. It's good to see you in club colours again. Obviously, the season didn't quite go to plan, and we're back in lockdown. How are you coping with all that?
Yeah, okay. A little disappointed because I felt like we had a really good bit of momentum leading into the season. Before the first lockdown, obviously up in the air with what was going to happen when we were in lockdown, and we get out of it, then okay, there was all these rescheduling for the fixtures, and then we felt like okay, we know where we stand. We had a meeting with the club, and we were all excited to obviously to proceed, and then this happens again, and which is disappointing because I feel like we had a good enough squad to give it a good shake, and but that means that I just get to put the body on ice for a little bit longer, and hopefully coming out of this period I'll be okay to go, and I know that all the players are itching to get started again.
Yeah, and obviously you're keeping busy in lockdown. We saw your new podcast over on Fox Sports with Adam Peacock. So obviously you can't go and commentate on the A-League with these lockdowns. So is that, I guess, something you can do to make up for that?
Yeah, well, I've got to get paid somehow. And I suppose I've got to, make it look like I'm still worthwhile to Fox Sports.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, I was obviously disappointed that I couldn't get back to doing some sideline commentary, or even getting inside the commentary box and calling some games, which I had a couple of games before the COVID kicked in, and that was something that I was looking forward to doing. And but maybe we'll have to just wait till next year to do that. But we're just all excited to have some football back. Players are excited to have football back because there was so much uncertainty whether there was going to be a broadcast deal, whether football was going to get started, a lot of players even to get paid. So a lot up in the air. I'm glad that, okay, I can't be there, but the more importantly is that the players are playing some football, and supporters and fans are getting to see it. And I know already there's been some great football being played, considering that not many clubs have been able to be together and play a lot of games and friendlies before this started. So it's only going to get better. And it's great too that it gives opportunities for younger players in the squad with the amount of substitutions now, the opportunity to go out and play and instead of seeing all these Instagram posts of all these young players that haven't really done anything, there's your opportunity, guys. Now you get to play, and hopefully some of those captions that I see so many times on Instagram posts with all these young players, that yes, I get some game time. So that's exciting. That's exciting. And I'm only taking a mick too.
While we're talking A-League, obviously your old club Victory is in action on Saturday, and they're probably a club that will have to rely on a few young players. What are you expecting from them? Obviously, it's been a bit of a rough season for the boys in blue.
Yeah, it has been so much upheaval when it comes to just players being injured, key players, some signings.
Yeah.
When you look at the marquee positions, weren't probably great. Obviously big loss with Ola Toivonen, even Tim Hoogland. I had a couple of text messages before, after obviously it was announced that he was going to be leaving, and he was so disappointed that he couldn't stay. But you've got to take into consideration too, and you've got to feel for a lot of these foreigners and players, is that he didn't want to sacrifice another long stint in isolation away from family, which is always difficult, especially when you're so reliant on them. And they've come over to Australia probably, would be assuming that they'd be as a family. So I can understand a lot of these players wanted to go home under the circumstances. I mean, obviously it's hit Victory hard. Robbie Cruz has re-injured himself, unfortunately. Just as, he was talking about having that period where he's got his body right. Unfortunately, that's been disappointing. So they've got a lot of young players there. I would have no idea about who's who in that squad. I mean, the only sort of information that I get and that I see is that there's like on the Instagram post, and I'm like, where the hell does that player come from? Who's that dude, which is good because it's exciting for them. It's exciting for fans to see what, in our academy teams or who's looking to come through. And I'm just grateful too that, and I'm sure that Grant is too, to get the opportunity to be a head coach of a club that he's had such success as a player at. So, man, it's okay. We'll probably run out the season, not make finals, but I think it's a good opportunity to get some young talent out there and give them a bit of taste of what A-League's about. And then we build for the future.
Yeah, and obviously Grant Brebner's a guy you played with. Is it good, do you think, for Victory to have like a Victory through and through type of guy back in the coaching position, especially after, Kevin Muscat leaves and he's been at the club since day died? Is it good to have someone with those true Victory roots back in the top job?
Oh, 100%. And he was there in that year that we had success after that first year where, the wheels fell off halfway through the season, where we needed some quality and some experience and some characters. And he's had such great experience playing in Europe and being on the rosters with Manchester United, had such a great CV. And for him to come was exciting for the club, and straight away had success, good leader. And he's familiar with the players that are there now, and I think that was important because he knows the qualities, and I know that he'll give opportunities to the players that I've earned it. Sometimes players that have names might necessarily go straight into the starting 11. I just feel like this is an opportunity now that for some of the players to put their hand up. No excuses now, and Grant will give that opportunity. I know that speaking with him that whoever's going to be able to do the job will do it. It's a clean slate, and that's, I think, really great because that almost sounded like the 2005 World Cup qualifiers where no one was certain that had a name to be in that starting 11 or that squad, and I found myself there, but it just added some new exuberance. Look at that, you learn new words. Or not learn them, you just know how to pronounce them. So I just think that will ignite a bit of fire under the asses of some players, and that's what we want to see. And we want to see some excitement. It's more about too the teams that can't make finals, giving some excitement back to the fans for next year.
Yeah. You've talked about expanding your vocabulary there. Have you found moving into the media? Is that a transition you thought you'd make, or?
Well, look, man, it's I'm still learning. I'm still trying to put sentences together. I'm still making words up. That like I've got to say quickly because I'm not certain it's actually a word. But I think if you say it with conviction, people sometimes believe it. But then I'm just me. I'm always going to step up when no one's perfect. I feel like when I went into the media, I had to act a certain way or be a certain way or have that vocabulary. I don't know how to say it to be able to match it with some guys that are already there. But everyone has their little talents. Mine's obviously to give a kind of more of a relaxed, but still people can understand commentary, and that's me. And I can't change. I won't change. It just is what it is.
Yeah, beautiful. And in that podcast,
and I'll learn how to say that word, man.
Vocabulary.
Okay, forget it. I know what it means. I'm just not going to try it.
That's all right. Hey, so in that podcast, you were talking about Vital obviously being keen for you to come back around next year. provided you can lay off the Tim Tams. I don't think Clantora would be too happy to hear about that. You're a classic Tim
that's
Tam
right,
man, or do you like the new flavours that come out?
Look, man, I love Tim Tams. Like,
Yeah.
I love them. Mind you, I love any sweets. I love any chocolates. I love chips, and that's probably been a little bit of my downfall through my career. But I mean, I think if you can find a balance, that's great. I feel like now I've found a balance where it used to be I'd just smash a whole packet of Tim Tams.
Yeah.
Now I know that I can space them out, like, one every 10 minutes instead of every minute, which is good.
Yeah, get through a packet in a whole day instead.
Yeah. Well, it's in the first half an hour. But then look, it's just about trying to find a balance. I was just out for a walk. For me now, I'm playing tennis, so I just joined the Yarraville Tennis Club.
Yeah.
Me and Nathan Coe, an ex Melbourne Victory goalkeeper. And so I'm actually really loving that because I used to play tennis. It's funny, you just when you're kind of not allowed certain things, and you kind of go back to other things, and you find other excitements or something else that kind of lifts your passions. And I used to play tennis, so that adds to it. And I get to play with my brother. He's a bit of a superstar, so it just keeps me fit. And if I can't, obviously play with Essendon.
Yeah, and in all serious, going back to, I guess, the first season at Royals, how did you enjoy that? You finished undefeated. You only played the one competitive game in the FFA Cup, so you can say you're undefeated at this point. What did you enjoy about getting back in with that squad? And was there anything about the club that surprised you when you signed up?
Look, I think it was obviously the manager. His professionalism, the professionalism he wanted to bring to the club, just with little things. And I think that's important if you want to create success or create a culture. And already there is a culture at the club. I mean, it's been around so many years. It's produced so many great players, and great players want to come back to it because they already know the culture of it. But B just wants to add a bit more professionalism to it. He's signed some great players, and I was really excited. I managed to get 2 friendly games in, and the FFA Cup and another friendly game, which was probably the most preparation I've had for a season grassroots level for a long time. And I felt good. I felt really good.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, things obviously didn't go the way they were supposed to. But I know that once it all gets back to going, back to normality, pre-season, it just makes everyone a bit more eager to get going.
Yeah, it'll be 3 pre-seasons in a row before we actually get a league going. So.
Yeah, there you go. Well, look, and V said, he'd love to keep me around at the club for next season, because I felt like this was probably going to be my last season. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, there's still so many months to be had.
Yeah, of course.
Other things that might present themselves that I might be putting my energy into. Whereas it used to be football, but I like that balance where I can kind of do both. But with my academy,
of course,
franchise now with Football Star Academy, starting in Yarraville. It's a bit slow at the moment with restrictions and being able to talk and communicate to schools. But I feel like I've got a good team. It's a good organisation, and that might be my energy, and might be more energy with the Fox Sports or media. It might be more energy with coaching. Yeah, who knows? I mean, anything's possible.
Well, you've got away with the kids because there are always plenty of photos of you after training with the Essendon Royals juniors. Were you surprised to see so many juniors at the club? Did you know a bit about the junior side of the club before you came?
No, it was actually great to see. I mean, it's great to be involved with a club that not only gives to the senior part of things, but obviously really passionate about the youth development and giving kids opportunities. And so when I seen that was fantastic. I mean, there were some young kids that were obviously pushed towards me because it was more their dad or mum that was a fan of me, and they're probably sitting there going, like, who's this old fella? Like, seriously. So I mean, it's good to still get that recognition and obviously excite people when I'm there. And I love it, and I love being involved in grassroots football.
Yeah.
And I love the club. I love the team. I love the Richie behind it. Archie, if you can just wash the bloody bibs, that'd be fantastic. And obviously Juan, if you can lay off the bloody EPO, then that'd be awesome, because we could actually probably get through a session without feeling like we need to recover for 3 days. But that's just the characters that you love to have involved in clubs. I mean, I've had them throughout my career where they're the blueprint of the clubs, and that's what I love,
Yeah, and obviously you touched on it quickly there. You've got your new Football Star Academy franchise. Tell us a little bit about that, and how kids interested in, I guess, taking their game to the next level might be able to get involved with you there.
Well, look, it's basically about going into schools, and giving kids an opportunity or a taste of football that might not necessarily know the game or play it, and just get kids active and give back a little bit of time to the parents, because it's parents are so running. You'll find out, mate, when you're of age. You're just running everywhere, and sometimes parents don't get that time. So I feel like this gives time back to parents for after school programs. And two, I love the way that their motto with the franchise. I'm not going to say it now because it skipped my mind. But it shouldn't. But there's obviously other things going on. I think it's great, and they obviously give school grants to schools, which is free for the schools to have our program in. And then it's down to the kids if they like it or not. And if they don't, well, then that's fine. But if they do, then we give them after school programs, which are fantastic. I mean, I've seen the FSA curriculum and what they do and all the different drills. And I've actually joined in with an online session just recently. And man, the quality that's with their elite program, I was actually blown away with some of the quality there, because you always feel like that it's always part of an A-League team or a big academy. But, I mean, obviously it is a big academy, but it's the quality of the coach, and it's the quality of the program that helps. And I just see the benefits of it at grassroots, and to get kids excited and get kids into our sport and keep them active. That's that's the main thing.
And if we can talk a little bit about, I guess, your professional career. Obviously, you won 3 A-League championships with the Victory. Was there one that stood out as your favourite?
Look, I don't know. Probably the third one. I didn't get much game time, but that was probably when I think of goals, I was the second highest goal scorer in the campaign, and that was exciting for me because I had to contribute in a different way where I had to bide my time to play, and when I did play, I took the opportunity. I scored goals, important goals, and sometimes the ones that you're more part of, or that you not necessarily be the ones that you personally feel like are better. Like that was probably one of my better seasons in front of goals. But other championships, I've been more involved in maybe setting up or the play of football. But that was probably great. But then obviously, the 5 goals were pretty special. I had an interview the other day about that and brought back some memories about that, and which you sometimes forget about. And until someone talks to you about it, you start rehashing all those moments of scoring, sharing it with family, crowds, the walk-off, having emotions towards that. Like every championship's pretty spectacular, but I was looking really forward to winning some games with Essendon Royals, and because I had my time at Murray United, which was fantastic, and it's just something it's great when you win, and that song in the change rooms, that excitement. I mean, you can get it at any level. But I was looking forward to obviously trying to win it, and because we had a good enough team and then that would have been fantastic, and go into the MPL.
Yeah, and you talked about how that third A-League championship, you sort of had to change the role within the team. As a player, when you've played such an important role in a team that's been successful, and as you get older, coaches start changing your role and stuff. How hard is that to manage as a player?
Yeah, it's hard to adapt. unless you're comfortable with your ego.
Yeah.
if you haven't got an ego, then it's fine. You find a way of adapting, and all that selfishness kind of goes, and it's about the team. And as much as people say it's a team sport, there's so much individual aspects to it.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're always competing. It's always about yourself, but I felt like that. I had to change my whole mindset because I still believed that I was good enough to be making the starting 11, or even if there was someone injured, that I'd be that sort of first choice to go straight in.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen, and you start to realise that hang on, my body isn't capable of doing the things that some of these young blokes have been able to do.
Yeah.
It's their time to shine. You have realizations, and I'll have realizations when Essendon kick off that I'm going to have to say to VV, look, this young boy, he can do a better job than what I can, and then it's just about nurturing them and explaining, being more of a mentor role than an actual player. And I felt like that was probably my role.
Yeah.
Come towards the end with Victory, and my roles now within the grassroots football stuff. Even with Essendon.
Yeah. Was there anyone that stood out within the Royal squad that you enjoyed playing with? I mean, I know you only played like two games, and then it was all the training. But was there anyone in particular you enjoyed playing with?
No, look, I feel like everyone's pretty good. Like everyone's great. I was hoping that Carl Recchia would
pull the boots on.
Lose a few kilos,
Oh.
then put the boots on. But you know what? It was funny because I think he got a bit of excitement too, seeing a couple of his old teammates at Victory and running about, and we're always giving him a little shove, going, mate, come on, you're more than good enough. And he lost a bit of weight. He was starting to talk it up a little bit, and which is good because that's the reason. There's some of the big reasons why I came to the club. For Auntie V. And also Carl. So man, it'd be awesome to be able to play, and he might have a change of, he might change his mind.
He was training every time I came to have a watch. So
yeah, well, mate, it was like train once, 2 weeks off. Train once, 2 weeks off, because that's how long that body took to recover.
Yeah. Well, that was about my schedule at coming to training, so I must have just seen him train. Yeah,
there you missed the 2 weeks in between. But mate, champion, legend guy, and it'd be great to obviously, if he wants to be able to play with him and, get a bit of that old crew, because he was the one that obviously assisted with the first goal ever for Melbourne Victory. It's pretty special.
Yeah. Before I let you go, I'll just ask you a couple of questions about Australian football in general. Obviously, the A-League and there's a lot of discussion around moving it to winter, opening up a second division. What are your thoughts on the game, the professional game at the moment? Do you think we should be looking to open up to a second division and allow, for promotion and relegation?
Yeah, definitely. Why not? I mean, I know that there is such a big gap from the A-League to the second tier, and then even possibly on. I know there is a gap, but we've got a unique sport. We've got an opportunity to give a lot of opportunities for kids that are coming through. I know that with other codes, it kind of gets lost a little bit, where that you're only allowed a certain amount of players in squads, so a lot just gets forgotten about. But this, I think, keeps kids and clubs excited that there might be a possibility that they can go to an A-League, which would be fantastic. And look, when I think of the FFA Cup, that's an amazing competition. Like, I feel that probably even there should be more emphasis on really promoting that game, that side of it, because you're capturing everyone that loves football and gives them opportunities. And that's why I love that so much. I love that competition. I love that we managed to just scrape through our one, but after hitting the post about 700 times. But that's it, man. That's such a fantastic competition. And I know that other codes we just go, oh, man, that's brilliant, because you give the amateurs opportunities to play against the professionals, which is amazing. But we should be having these conversations. Why not? Like, I know moving it to winter, the product's going to be fantastic. I've played A-League long enough to know that in summer it's hard, and it's hard to give viewers and fans the type of football that they want, that people want to expect. Yeah. And I feel like winters, you're already seeing with
for sure,
the games that are played now. Like they've had a couple of months off, but the level and the speed and the quality is already there. So proof's in the pudding. Yeah.
And lastly, just on women's football, obviously you commentated a few W League games towards the end of the season there, and Australia and New Zealand obviously co-hosting a Women's World Cup. How massive do you think that will be for the game? Not just for women's game, but it'll be big for everyone to have that sort of tournament here, won't it?
Oh, man, it's amazing. Like, it's such an amazing achievement by the women, and Australia and New Zealand to obviously be able to host the World Cup. Women's sports always seems to take a back seat, but now it's come to the forefront. It's brilliant. It should be always equal. And, I'd probably, for myself too, have had a bit of a chauvinist outlook on a lot of things. And this is obviously a lot, you grow and you see things a bit differently, and women deserve just as much success and as much as men do, and especially in sport and football. So I know with the Essendon Royals, it's got such a huge women's and girls football within the club. Man, I just rock up. I'm stunned with how many girls there are playing our sport, but just at our club, which is fantastic. And I have a girl myself that deserves just as much as what men get. So, man, it's brilliant. It's exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. And really excited. Even Polly Dolan, she was Essendon. She's one of my coaches from my FSA.
Oh, right. Okay.
If she doesn't know about it now, well, there you go.
You heard it here first.
So it's a great opportunity for the girls, and and those that are playing Essendon Royals, like, now you've got something to strive for. You're like a World Cup in your own backyard with a great opportunity to win it. It's fantastic.
That's brilliant. Well, Archie, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate coming on.
Cheers, bro. My pleasure.